Hey guys, it's Carrie Creation, and today we're going to do a speed paint video. This one is just a little bit different for me because normally what I would do when I'm recording a video is I would do my talking while I'm doing my drawing, and then I'd kind of just clip it all together how I want it to be. But I figured for this one what I'm going to try is recording the audio post-sketch so that I can comment on it while it's going in the background, so it doesn't have to be all choppy or different speeds. I want you to be able to see the full process from start to finish, and I don't know, maybe like you'll enjoy seeing the choices I make or how I struggle so much with some of it. But yeah, so today I'm drawing my character Safi Jiva, who is a Quarian in a Mass Effect Roleplay Game. The system is a 5e adaptation for the Mass Effect universe. And I don't actually, I've never played Mass Effect, I don't really know anything about it at all, but I'm really enjoying the game. We've only had 3 sessions so far, but I'm really loving my character, and just the way things work in general has been really fun. Mostly I really enjoy doing the accent that I've given her, because I've tried for kind of a Polish accent. I'm okay at it, like little hand wave, but it's just really fun to do, and I feel like it gave her a lot of character, which made it really fun for me. And I really love designing characters, so it's really different for me to design a character whose outfit is so much of who they are, more than their features and things like that. Obviously there's another video where I was designing her and I've given her features, and I've designed her underneath her outfit. I've also designed her in her outfit. So for this drawing, I'm going to be doing the casual outfit that she wears. Normally she has a hood up in it. I've decided to put the hood down in this one. You'll see that later, how I go about that. She kind of can take the hood down and turn it a little bit into like a shawl sort of thing. So that's what she's going to be wearing in this one. I hate how much I struggled with that helmet, but I'm actually really happy with how it came out. I think maybe it makes her head look a little bit big because she's all hunched over, but it was a good experience, I think, to just try it out, since I'm still getting used to drawing things that look like spacesuits and armor and things like that. It's not what I normally do. So basically here I'm just putting down when I designed her, I basically designed her to have her basic Quarian suit, because they live their whole lives in these skin-tight suits that protect them from all sorts of germs and things like that. They've got really bad immune systems because of stuff that happened to them in thousands of years of not being able to touch the air, I guess. I'm no expert. This is all just what I'm going off of based off what I've been told. This is the part where I remembered that Quarians only have 3 fingers, and they have the backward hinge thing under their knees. I can't remember what that's called, but comment down below if you know what that's called, because I don't, and I'm editing this the night before it goes live, so I'm very tired. I don't really want to look it up. But yeah, so basically I'm putting down the basic of her outfit, and then on top of that is where she wears her, I guess, more decorative stuff. So in a D&D roleplay setting, she was given the ability to have casual clothes and armor, which is why I designed her to have casual-ish clothes that she puts on top of her bodysuit and armor that she puts on top of her bodysuit. So this is her more casual gear. It's basically just some little crop thing that has a hood on it, and some gloves and a skirt with a couple of stringy belt things. I wanted to really make this feel like a completed image as well, so I went in and I put a background, just basically some pillows and fairy lights in her bunk. From what I've been told, Quarians are kind of minimalistic because they don't have a lot of space for a lot of clutter. She's on a pilgrimage at the moment. She's actually out in space with a bunch of other people working jobs and basically being a mercenary. So I decided that one of the things that she's done to make her bunk more homely to her is that, for instance, her bed has a lot of pillows on it, because it just makes the place feel a little bit more crowded, and she's not used to being in a place that isn't very crowded. She came from a very small ship with a lot of people living in close quarters, so this just kind of makes it feel a little more homely to her, a little less space is what brings her a bit more comfort with it, I suppose. But yeah, and one of the things that is one of the traits that your character gets if you play a Quarian in this roleplay setting is different types of implants to boost their abilities in some way. So for her, I went with ocular implants. So basically, she can see in the dark a lot better. So I decided that in her room, she kind of keeps it a bit dark, which is why she has the fairy lights, because it's not as harsh as the natural lighting. And I just thought that would be like a nice little character trait for her. Again, just kind of makes it more homely and pretty, and she really just likes it. I looked up a couple of different references for how Quarian masks are supposed to look, so I'm not sure how accurate I got it to what they're actually meant to look like, but I was really happy with this. I really like the design of her outfits. I'm really excited because when we stop over at a planet next, she's going to try and buy a couple more clothes to put on top of her suit, just so that she can try and fit in a bit more with the crew that she's living with at the moment. But yeah, so this is Safi. I had it pointed out to me by a friend when I posted the last drawing video of her. For anyone out there who knows Monster Hunter, yes, I did take her name from the Monster Hunter monster. There is a Monster Hunter monster called Safi Jiva. It's an elder dragon, and I just thought the naming convention worked really well here, and I liked it, and I wanted to give like a little nod to that because I don't think my friends will ever run a Monster Hunter game. So that's where I got her name from. I liked it. I like Monster Hunter, so I wanted to have a little nod to that, and the naming convention worked well with Quarian naming conventions. I really like that the Quarians only have the 3 fingers, because if you're not good at drawing hands, not having to draw 5 fingers is great. I don't particularly mind drawing hands myself, but I had a lot of fun with simplifying the shape, I guess. And it does actually make it a little bit simpler to draw it. The bow legs, however, they were really hard for me to nail down. So yeah, you can see that I'm just going in now with the backgrounds. I've got a couple of different layers going for what I want different things to be. I wanted to keep it kind of simplistic and keep the color scheme all kind of kept together. So her outfit has a lot of like blues, blacks and greys on it, and her skin is light purple. So I wanted to keep that sort of thing in the background as well, just because again, if she's trying to remind herself of home, she'll want it to look a little bit like home. And I really tried hard on this background. I wanted it to look really detailed without being too much of a focus. I don't know how much it ends up looking like pillows and things like that, but I am pretty happy with it. I didn't want to do like a line art style. I really wanted to make it like a lineless style, but still have it look like it fits in behind her, because I feel like if it had line art, it would distract a little bit too much from her. So, and she is the focus of this piece. I had a lot of fun messing around with the blending and the shading of it. I'm not sure if I went too far or even not far enough, or maybe it's a little too sketchy, I'm not sure, but it was a lot of fun. I kept switching between the blend and the blur tool, because the blend tool is really fun because it gives it kind of like almost a painterly feel to me. I'm not sure how other people use it and how other people feel about it. That's how it felt for me. And then I went through with the blur tool and I would smooth things out where I wanted them to be smoother. For the background here, I figured her outfit has hex shapes on it. So hexing is kind of like her thing. She's the engineer of her current crew. So I just thought that would be a nice thing to have like on the background, just a nod to that on the background wall of her room. And now I'm just adding in those fairy lights. I did some like a gradient shadow and then erased parts of it for where the lights are going to be, just because if they're producing light, there's not really going to be shadow behind them. And then, yeah, I'm just putting in lights, putting in a lighter color over the top, which I'll blur out and put as a glow effect. And then when I put it all into the same folder, it means I don't have to worry as much about the background anymore, and I can just go on with coloring her. I've gotten into this habit where I like doing the background first, because then I can use it to figure out shading and how I want the lighting to be in the image. I think it makes it a little bit easier to do lighting if you know what it's going to look like in the background, because it helps you figure out where your lighting should be coming from. This bit's obviously just a little bit more simple. It's just me filling in blocks of colour. I do make a couple of mistakes with where I'm filling in colour, but I fixed it all up in the end, eventually. But I basically just go down and block each colour down on a separate layer, and then use things like clipping masks to figure out like patterns and things like that. I've got this pattern brush. The thing that I really like about Clip Studio Paint is that it does have its own inbuilt resource gallery, essentially, where people can upload different things that they've created or that they have, and you can just download it and use them as needed. Some of them do cost a little bit of currency, but I basically just use free ones. There's a lot of really good resources on there, so I highly recommend it. I know a lot of artists like things like Photoshop, which I again think is a fantastic program. I used Photoshop for most of my adolescence and a little bit of my adulthood as well, but obviously with the newer versions of Adobe Photoshop you have to pay a yearly subscription for them, and that really wasn't feasible for me. So one of my friends actually turned me to Clip Studio Paint, and that's why I use that now, because it's a one-time payment and it comes with basically just all these really great resources and tools, and it's, in my opinion, fairly similar enough to Photoshop that it just works. It was easy to switch from one to the other. It just kind of clicked properly, and you know, I figured it out fairly quickly from there. I don't know about everyone else, but like, shading is probably one of my least favorite parts of the art process. I love sketching and I love doing line art, and then I know that shading is where the whole image kind of comes together and gets its life from, but I find it so draining to do it. But then I really love doing highlights, which is weird because there's really not a lot of highlights in this picture because I wanted it to be a little bit darker. It's meant to be a little bit more intimate. She's curled up on her bed in her room, like in the dark. So I didn't actually get to do a lot of highlights, but I've really been enjoying highlighting, which is weird that I like highlighting and I don't like shading. So I'm really curious. I always love to ask other people what their favorite and least favorite part of drawing is. I really do love, though, at the end of almost every image, whenever I finish an image, I kind of spend a couple of minutes just sitting there turning the shading on and off, because I find it really interesting to see where it came from and where it ends. I find it's a really good, like, it just makes me feel good because, you know, you start with nothing and you create something, and it's pretty fun. So I'm going through doing some highlights now, and it wasn't until after I saved the original image of this where I went and looked at it and was like, oh, I didn't put the hexes on her outfit, and that's really an important part of her design. So you'll see in a minute, I'll go to finish this image off and then go back and add them in. Here we go. I figure out where the layer is, I get my hex brush. Unfortunately, I don't know how to resize the actual brush properly, because no matter what size you put the brush on, the hexes always seem to come out the same size, so it's just me making them smaller and then lining them all up for a little bit. But I think it just adds... Her outfit has a lot of texture, because they don't have really much else that they can do to show themselves off. But I really hope you enjoyed listening along while I spoke about all of this stuff, and I hope you enjoyed the artwork. If you liked the video, maybe you could put a like on the video, because it really makes me feel good and would really help out my channel a lot. If you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing, because I try to post a new video every week, and then I stream every week as well. Have a good time, guys. Bye!